Hey guys, I'm Amy,
I'm Brittany.
and this is Homemade Homicide. We like to cook and talk about murder.
Yes, we enjoy that.
It's very exciting. Today, we're going to make pho. It's a traditional Vietnamese soup, and it's, oh God, so good.
I'm very excited for
I can eat pho like every day.
Me too.
Now, it's pronounced pho, but it's spelled P-H-O, so a lot of people call it pho, which is incorrect.
All right, good
Just-
history.
Just saying. Okay.
Sweet.
So today we're talking about Karl Denke. He was actually known as the Cannibal of Ziębice? No. Ziębice.
Ziębice.
I'm never going to get it right. Sorry, guys.
Butchering the language over
Yes. Anyway, he was also known as the Pickler of Germany.
there. The German Pickler.
The German Pickler.
Hot. Okay.
Everyone likes a little pickle.
Yeah. Okay. Nah.
Well,
Not a
maybe
little.
not, but you know. You liked a lot of pickle, apparently.
Well, yes. Anyway, moving forward. Sorry about
Moving
that.
forward. Okay, so I'm going to start with this. Basically, we're going to cut up some onion and some garlic and some ginger and get it in the pot and get cooking.
While she's doing that, I'll wash my hands.
Yep. And I'm going to start talking about Karl Denke. So, Karl, make sure you use lots of soap.
Yes.
Karl was born in, and I'm going to screw this up again.
Are you afraid of my pickling hands? Pickling that dirt skin.
Okay. So, Karl was born in 1860, and I'm going to mess this up. It's Obernkirchendorf,
Right
which
on.
is in Silesia, Prussia, but it is now known as Poland. So, he was born in 1860. His family was actually, they were quite wealthy. They were farmers. Now, when he was born, according to the family, he did not speak till he was almost 6 years old.
What?
Yeah,
What was wrong
that's
with
what
him?
they said. They don't know. They just said that he was dull.
What?
So I'm assuming that means
That's rude.
slow or whatever. So yeah, so
Okay.
so you want to do about a thumb size of
Like that?
ginger, about like that. Cut the top off of there.
Okay.
And go, and I will work on this. Okay, so anyway, he was also, his family used to say that he, he didn't have any fear of anything. He had no disgust for anything. I'm not exactly sure how they meant that, but, and they said that he didn't have a violent temper, that type of thing. He just was kind of dull. But they did say that the guy was a major glutton. So I guess at some point when he was older, he got invited to a dinner or something at his brother's house, and he wound up like eating 2 pounds of meat, like just blah, blah, blah,
Wow.
yeah, globbing it down. I guess he was like sweating or whatever, right? So anyway, when he was 12 years old, he ran away. Is about the only other thing we know about him.
Well, yeah, his family's calling him names and shit. I'd run away too.
Well, I don't know if they were calling him names, but so anyway, he when he was 25, and obviously he got back with his family or whatever, but his father died when he was 25. So the father left the farm and most of the money to his brother, but he wound up getting some money. So he wound up moving to Germany, to Münsterberg, and it's now known as that, and I'm going to mess it up again, Ziębice.
Ziębice.
Yes, that's the name of the town, like now.
Ziębice.
Ziębice. So it kind of sounds like a Power Puff Girl or something.
Yeah. Did you
Ziębice.
watch the Powerpuff Girls?
No, but I think you did, didn't you, when you were little?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think I was older by the time.
Oh, maybe Molly did. Anyway,
Whatever.
so
Maybe it's someone else's kid. I can't remember if it was you or not.
I know, right?
Rude.
So anyway, he winds up moving to Ziębice, and he buys a house.
How do you want me to mince it?
You know what? I want you to. So this is what I do with garlic. I grate it. I like to grate it.
Grate it.
Yes.
You could use your plate that I bought you for your garlic.
I'm sorry.
She never uses the plate that I got her. It's a great plate.
I'm going to shove that plate up your ass.
Shove it up your ass.
Okay. Anyway. So.
After I grate this fucking ginger.
Okay. All right. I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
So he buys this house. It's got some property. It's got a shed. It's a pretty nice house. And he winds up in the town becoming quite well known and quite well liked. And basically, the only thing that they said about him that was even like unkind was they weren't quite sure, like, he had no relationships at all with women or men. So they weren't sure what was going on there. But he didn't drink.
So he's like asexual or something?
Well, maybe, I guess. I mean, at the time, they didn't really know. So, because this is like, the early 1920s by this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, he's known throughout the town. He helps. There's a lot of vagrants because World War I was going on, whatever, and so there were a lot of vagrants. There were, a lot of people were down on their luck, blah blah blah, and so he was known throughout the town as Papa Denke. And again, he would, help people that were down on their luck.
That's so nice.
Yeah, he carried the cross in the evangelist funerals. He would carry the cross, and he also played the organ in the local church.
I want to like this guy.
Yeah, so,
I know what you're going to tell me about him, though. Like, that's.
So
I know why we're talking about him.
He seems like kind of a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, in December, I think it was like December 24th, like it was like right around Christmas. Before that. So he winds up, after World War One, he winds up, he loses his house because of hyperinflation from the war. So he winds up, he loses his house, so he sells it, but he's able to rent
What do you mean with this ginger?
Huh?
What do you want with this ginger?
I want it in here.
Well, then put it in.
I want it in this pot, man.
Well, then there you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we've got the ginger and this in the pot. I'm going to put a little oil in here.
Okay.
So he winds up renting a room in his house from, whoever bought it, whatever, and he kept the shed. Okay, so now it's 1924, and there's this guy, it was December, this guy, his name was Vincenz Oliver, and he was a vagrant, and he winds up coming into town.
Why do you have a trash bowl if you're not using the trash bowl? It's right there.
Sorry.
Going around you.
I'm used to it being on the other side.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
I don't bend so easily.
Sorry. I'm used to it being on the other side.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so he comes into town. He's looking for food or lodging or, money, whatever. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the townspeople are like, oh, go see Papa Denke, like, he'll help you. So
he's a nice guy.
He's a great guy. So they go down, and he goes down, and he invites him in, Papa Denke, invites him in, and he's like, have some food. So he said, this is what he told the police, that he goes in, and there's already food on the table. It's just meat, but it's on the table.
Okay.
And so this is an interesting fact that I forgot to tell you about Carl. He's, after World War I and things were really bad, all of a sudden he starts selling meat. He's got all this meat and he's selling it in pickle jars. And he, oh God, that onion is... that is strong.
Not great.
Ugh. So he is selling this meat. He's labeled it skinless pickled pork. And he goes into town and sells it. He goes door to door and sells it. And he also sells, like shoelaces, and he sells like belts.
I understand that there was a time that you had to do that, but Jesus, pickled meat, like.
Well, people were starving.
So gross to me.
Yeah, but they didn't have a lot of ways to store it, and so pickling kept it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just
exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, canned meat, pickled meats. So he's selling all this meat and everything, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, like I said, all these people are, they're starving.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh my God. So, anyway, this Oliver guy, he's invited in and he sits down to eat some of this pickled meat, right? Mm-hmm. I know it's really strong.
It's just,
if you wanna hand me a rag, I'll wipe the. Whew. Yeah, that is really strong.
I said, dang. Woo. Okay.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
So they have dinner and they're talking whatever, and Denke says to Oliver, "Hey, if you would help me write a letter, I'll give you some money." And so of course Oliver's thinking, "Okay, cool.
Did Denke not know how to write?
No.
Oh.
Well, at least that's what he said.
Okay.
So maybe he did know. I don't know. Again, he didn't talk till he was 6.
Right.
And he ran away when he was 12. So who knows what the hell the guy could do.
Not the most communicative.
Right.
Person.
Now I'm adding my famous sambalo leek. I love this stuff.
Shit's good. Very good.
I like it spicy. I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons. You could put in as much as you want. It's delectable.
Put it in the whole jar.
Yes.
That's what I like to do.
Yes.
It's my sweet ass heartburn, but whatever. It's
exactly.
Fine. Worth it.
Exactly. So anyway, he's like, "Will you help me write this letter?" So he's like, "Yeah, okay," and so as he starts to write the letter, like he's bending over the table, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees movement, and so he kind of jerks up. Well, when he does, Denke hits him in the head, the top of the head, with an axe. Well, because he kind of saw it and he jerked, he was able when the axe hit him, it like bounced off his head, and it didn't really do too much except put a big gash in his head. So he goes running out, right?
Yeah, no shit.
So he's out screaming. Well, one of the guys that lived in the house that Denke lived in, he sees the guy and he's like, "Carl Denke did this to me," and this guy's like, "Oh no, that's Papa Denke," No.
He's a nice man.
Yeah, he's a nice man. So this guy's like, "Oh, what the hell," So he runs into town and he's, he goes to the police. So the police are like, "There's no way that Carl did that. Everybody loves him." Blah, 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 right?
Like, what are we doing with that?
So what I'm going to do is, while this is cooking, so in the interest of time,
yes,
I've made 8 cups of chicken broth. Now what I did was I boiled a chicken, and again, interest of time, I already did that. So this is just boiled chicken broth. Feel free to use regular chicken broth. Like a can would be fine, and you could use the meat and just shred it. Get a rotisserie chicken and just shred it.
Your pickled meats?
Your pickled meats. Speaking of...
Get them from your local pickler.
Yes.
Yes.
So once your onion and your garlic and your ginger, which smell amazing, have cooked, you're just going to pour your broth in here, okay? So pour the broth in.
And that's, what is that again? That's how many cups of what?
This is 8 cups because we're going to make 4 bowls of soup.
Okay.
You want to put that in the sink?
Sure.
Okay. So then what you're going to do is you're going to bring this to a boil. And then you're going to turn it down. Now, also, in the interest of time, I happen to have a full pot of this, which we'll use, we'll use this in a little while, okay? So just pretend that this is boiling, okay?
Okay.
Pretend it's boiling, because it's kind of hard to...
right on.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to put in 1 cinnamon stick. You want to put that in?
Sure. In this bad boy or this bad boy?
That bad boy. Because this one's done.
Got it.
We're going to put in 4 star of anise.
Ooh. In case you don't know what that looks like, it's these bad boys.
They're really cool. And they smell really good.
Here.
Yeah, and they smell real good.
Oh. What does that smell? It's like
It's
like black licorice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's anise.
Okay.
We're going to put in about a tablespoon of black peppercorns.
Black peppercorns.
Black peppercorns. A tablespoon of coriander seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Smells good.
Yes.
And we're going to put in about 2 teaspoons of Chinese 5 spice. Okay. So put that all in.
Okay.
All right. Then would you like to, this is coconut sugar, and it comes in a package just like this. And when you pull it out, it's super hard, right? So what I do is I just take a knife, and you're only going to do like a teaspoon. I just kind of peel it off.
Be careful if you're using a giant knife like that.
Whatever.
I can see somebody being like, "Oh, I'll do that." Oh, where'd my thumb go? It's in the soup now. Okay.
But it's just, and it's coconut sugar. So, and you can get this in any Asian market. Okay.
I can't wait for this to be done. I'm so hungry.
And it's so delicious. So about a teaspoon of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that is my
fish
shit.
sauce. Yeah,
that is my absolute favorite. I
this
lived
kid
on
can
that shit
drink.
when I was little.
Yeah. She grew up on fish sauce.
Because Nick showed me.
I put in a couple of tablespoons because you can use this instead of salt. I mean, that's the point. It's salty, so you can use that.
Very salty.
But then you also add a little bit of salt as well. Okay, so about...
My favorite is this stuff on just regular white rice or on a hard-boiled egg. Oh my god. Oh,
Okay.
so good.
All right, so again, you're going to let this boil and then take it down to a simmer and let it cook for about, 10-15 minutes. And this will be the best broth you've ever had.
It's very good.
Then you strain it. When you're done, you strain it. And then you want to bring it back and put it on the heat, like I will do with this one. Okay?
Yeah, so when you strain it, it takes out all the peppercorns, all the coriander seed, and all of the star anise and stuff.
You don't want any of that stuff. You just want the broth, okay? Yes. And then you want to start on the vegetables, which we will do right now.
Okay.
Okay, so back to Carl. Where were we? So while Oliver is in town, he's telling the police, and they don't, they're like, okay, we don't believe you, whatever. So...
Because he's our best friend.
Yeah, because he's Father Denke. Well, he winds up, the doctor comes, and he looks at his head, and he's like, oh, yeah.
This guy was...
That's like an axe, like,
ugh. Think about when you smack your head in general, but like it's an axe. It's a fucking axe going into your head.
Exactly.
Ah!
So the police are like, okay, so they go down and they arrest Carl. And of course, Carl's telling him, oh no, this guy, I let him in my house and, he tried to attack me and, he's lying. So they're like, okay, well, until we get this figured out, you're coming down to the station. So they put him in a cell, and they're talking to this Vincenz Oliver again, talking to him. Vincenz. Quite an interesting name.
Vincenz.
Yes. Whatever. So.
What do I do with these?
Okay, these are going to be for our soup.
Okay.
When we're done. So they. Sorry. Okay, so while he's talking to the cops, one of the police officers goes back to the cell to talk to Carl, and Carl had hanged himself with a handkerchief. So now they're like, holy shit. So now
That's guilty.
Yeah. So now they know something's up, right?
Yeah.
So the cops go to his house, and they go in the front door, and dude, they start finding all kinds of crazy stuff. So the first thing they find when they walk in is they find there's a pot on the stove, and it's got like this gelatinous, weird, thick liquid. Would you quit eating all the bell peppers, please?
You're handing them to me.
I didn't hand them to you. I simply set them on here to use for our soup.
Just one more.
Whatever. Okay, this is bok choy, which I have washed, and now I'm slicing into just pieces. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Chunking it up?
Yes, chunking it up. So this gelatinous, they discover that in this gelatinous liquid on the stove, there's pieces of skin in it and aortas.
Ah!
Right? So then they start looking around, and they wind up finding a breast, and it's like hairy, so they know it's like a guy's breast or whatever.
Oh, a man's chest.
Yeah, like a man's chest.
I'm thinking like a boob.
No. So they find that. They find a bunch of bones. They wind up finding a torso that's cut this way, not that way. So it's just the torso, but it's cut this way. I know, right? It's pretty nasty.
What?
And they also find what they described as a clean anus with two buttocks. But I guess they weren't all connected. Like he had cut the anus out. Okay. Yeah. So
that's fucked up.
Yeah, right. Okay, now I'm going to.
So he cut.
Yes, cut the anus out.
Cut the butthole.
Yes. And so I guess he split the cheeks.
Like you would the stem of bell pepper, just cut it all.
Well, I don't know the stem of the bell. Okay, yes.
I mean.
Okay, so there's the jalapeno.
Okay.
Okay.
Very pretty presentation. I like
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Throw those seeds out here. Okay, now I'm using. These are called hen of the woods mushrooms. And these are the most delectable mushrooms in the world. I love these. These are great. So all we're going to do is just take them. They're kind of in one whole piece. And I cut them into smaller little pieces. Okay?
Okay.
So we'll have that for our soup. Our noodle zuba.
Zuba? Do you want me to
as you would say
start
in German.
putting stuff in this one?
If you want in the fridge, I need the herbs. We're going to do Thai basil. We're going to do mint and cilantro. So here's the
basil.
Start picking the
Thai basil.
the leaves off of the stems.
Gotcha.
A few of those, would you?
How many?
Maybe like 3 or 4. It's just soup for you and I. Today.
Okay.
Okay. So they wind up finding just a crazy amount of stuff. Like, I can't even tell. Okay, so in fact, I have a list right here. They found 16 femurs, 15 long bones, 4 elbows. They found 7, they were called heads of radii. I think it's radii or radii, but basically it's your arm. And so the head bone of the radius bone or whatever is up here. So they found 7 of those. They found 9 lower radii bones. They found 8 lower elbows. They found a pair of shin bones. They found a pair of collarbones.
Don't touch my shins.
I know, right? They found 2 shoulder blades. They found 8 heels and ankle bones. They found 120 toes. They found 5 first ribs and 150 pieces of ribs. And they found 351 teeth.
Cool.
So now on the teeth, like, they were even saying like some of them you could tell.
Father Denke, great
Father
guy.
Denke, Papa Denke.
Papa.
Everyone loved him.
Cool.
So
Fucking gross.
yeah, so they figured out that what he had been doing all along probably was, you know, pulling in vagrants. Hey, come on in for a free meal. And then he was killing them and, you know, using the meat.
Dude, that's so gnarly.
Yeah, right?
Wait,
So
I put this in the soup right now?
So, yeah, get a bowl.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to start building our soup. Oh, I need to cut these first. We have to have green onions.
Yes.
Or it's not soup. Put this over here. Thank you.
Over where?
Right there. Oh, no.
Oh!
Try not to make a mess, would you?
I don't know if I can guarantee that.
So, he,
There you go, trash bowl.
trash bowl. I've been using it.
Uh-huh.
I've been using it. Okay. So, they wind up, they're looking all over the property. They wind up finding, like, all these bones, all these pieces of skin, all this shit, right? And they, he had built a pond out in the, on the property. And they wound up finding, like, bones in the pond. And then there was a forest behind, the house. And they found body parts and stuff. They found body parts as late as 1940. That's how many that's how many body parts were around.
He was busy.
He was very busy. So then,
How was he getting away with this for so long?
well, that was the thing. So a lot of the townspeople, they even said that some of the people, like, they figured that he was getting the meat off the black market.
Can I put these in the bowl?
And you know what? So you start with these noodles. Now these noodles you can get at any Asian, well, not any Asian market, but most Asian markets.
That green onion's burning my eyes.
I
Damn.
know, right? These are rice stick noodles. Banfa toy is what I'm gonna say. Yes, I've totally messed that up.
Right here.
Totally messed that up. These are already cooked, which I like because then you don't have to cook them.
Yeah. Right on.
Okay, so we're gonna cut this baby open. And we're just gonna use we can use like half.
Okay.
Okay. So they're all kind of in a big pile. Just take about half of these babies and throw them in the bowl. There we go. Got it?
I think so.
Okay. Now the key to this is to make sure your broth is boiling hot, okay? Because that's gonna recook these noodles because they are a little dry, but they're gonna soften up again once you get them, get them wet. So you're gonna do the mushrooms. I like to make it a little fancy. You're gonna do a little bit of your chicken. Now this is the shredded chicken that I boiled. Okay, so a little bit of chicken there. Some red bell pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right there. Little bok choy. Okay. Now I like 3 jalapenos. Okay, so that's how you're gonna set it. Then I still need my herbs because I need the mint and I need
Here's the basil.
Okay, so the basil, there's your green onions. Okay, so the basil you can just tear and put on top. And then the cilantro, the mint is in the refrigerator if you want to get that.
Gotcha.
So we just have to put these herbs on here, okay? Okay, so they find all this stuff. They figure out that most of the bones they found he'd actually boiled.
Where's your mint?
I don't know. Is it in the drawer? Oh, it's right there, the big package. And the bean sprouts. See the bean sprouts?
I'm blind. Oh.
And edit.
And someone needs glasses. Alright, bean sprouts.
Okay, then you put on some bean sprouts, which I love. Okay, there's your bean sprouts. Look at this soup. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Okay. And then hand me I'll do some cilantro.
Here's some mint.
All right, you do the cilantro, I'll do the mint. Okay, so, this is nice and bubbly boiling. Okay, so.
How much cilantro?
Huh?
How much cilantro?
I mean, like a handful.
Okay.
Yeah. So they discovered also that all the shoelaces and belts and suspenders that he'd been selling were actually made from human skin.
Gnarly!
Right? And they even found a hat that he tried to make with some human skin. Then in the closet, they found just tons, hundreds of like bloody clothes. And they actually found a skirt. Okay, there's the mint. Oh, look at that. And there was a lady that had been killed like 11 years prior. And they think that she, they never found her. Well, I say killed. She went missing. And they figured when they found that skirt that was her and that he had killed her. They found...
Down to a skirt.
I know, right?
I feel like some of the clothes are probably fairly generic back then.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. Like back then, people only had like one pair of pants or...
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they also found like ID cards and personal papers. Okay, that's probably good for that.
Garbage bowl.
I'm making a huge mess right here.
Okay. Me?
I said we.
We. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they figured, again, like I said, that was her. They found a bunch of ID papers, personal papers for people, but they weren't, of course, able to really match the papers up with any of the body parts. So they assumed that probably most of those papers were people that he had killed.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that they found was they found a hand me the herbs. They found a diary, and in this diary he had like there were names of people. Oh, there's Mel barking.
Nice.
They found names of people, and these people, there was like a date and a name, and it was all chronological. And so he also had like their weight, and they figured that these were the people that he killed. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is ready. You're just going to ladle this over all of your vegetables. And this is going to kind of soften up your veggies. I like crispy veggies, so this doesn't bother me at all. Okay. And fill this baby up. You want the maximum amount of broth. This is so good. Okay. So there we go. Then you're just going to let it sit for a couple of minutes and let those noodles kind of soften up. And it's going to be delicious. So they find the diary. They find all this stuff. They figured the numbers. They had the dates. He had the weights of these people. Also in this diary. Oh my God, I hate you. Also in this diary on the back, he had a thing that was listed that said dead bodies 122, naked bodies 107, and disemboweled 83.
And one clean anus.
And one clean anus. And that is the story of Carl Denke.
Hot.
The anus eater of no.
German Pickler.
The German Pickler.
The German Pickler.
So let's try this soup, huh?
Give me the goddamn.
You're gonna love this soup. Oh my god.
That shit's bomb.
And see the noodles soften up in the heat. Get a little bit of those herbs in there if you can.
Try to be polite instead of just diving in while she's in there.
Sorry. Okay. It's so good. Try and eat it all sexy.
That's very good.
Good, right?
You say I was trying to eat it all sexy?
Isn't that to die for?